All right, everyone. Welcome into another episode of the Hawks Eye podcast. I'm your host, Bryce Coots. And today, everyone, we're going to be breaking down the three keys for a Hawks victory this Sunday versus San Francisco 49ers. This will be a sub show that I'll bring out for everyone the day before a Seahawks game. It'll drop in the morning most times. So that way you guys can get a full read on what's going on with the Hawks and my opinions on the three ways that they can beat the opponent that we're going to play during the NFL season. Before we get into that, everyone, I need you guys to do me a favor. Can you please go like and subscribe to the channel if you already haven't done that? The channel's growing rapidly. I just got over 800 subscribers, and I'm closing in on that 1,000 mark, which is huge when it comes to the YouTube algorithm. So I'd really appreciate you folks if you can go help me out there and share this with as many Seahawk fans as you can, and get them aboard the Hawks Eye train that's kind of just taken off at a steady pace right now. So I appreciate everyone's help and support in that. So we'll get into those three keys right after this. So, like I said, everyone, these are the three keys to victory for the Hawks. It's going to be a fun little sub-segment show, and we'll get into the first key of the game after this. So, key number one for me, everyone, in this going into this game versus San Francisco 49ers is to put pressure on Brock Purdy. We know that Brock Purdy has the ability, when he's kept clean in the pocket, to really create havoc and throw the ball down the field. So for me, it's collapse the pocket consistently, force Purdy to throw on the move where his mechanics get a bit shaky. That's one thing with Brock Purdy. He does have some decent mechanics on the run, but they're nowhere near the same as when he's throwing from within the pocket. So if we can get him out on the perimeter, force him, towards a certain side of the field, maybe his left side as he's a right-handed thrower, those kind of things will definitely lead to an advantage for the Hawks. The other thing, Mike McDonald, we already kind of have an idea he's going to be in his bag this year when it comes to pressures, sim pressures, blitzes, mixed disguised blitzes with simulated pressures to make him hesitate pre-snap. That's another thing we can do with Purdy. And the other thing, attack the mismatches on the interior. Outside of Trent Williams on this offensive line for the 49ers, there are matchups to be won by this defensive front where Byron Murphy, DeMarcus Lawrence, Jaron Reed, Derek Hall, all these other guys can really get after the quarterback and potentially create issues for the San Francisco 49ers offensive line. So that is one of my keys to start this off, is we have to get pressure on Brock Purdy this Sunday. My second key to the game is something I think all of us have talked about, and that is control the clock. We have to establish the run with Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet, mix some gap runs and this mainly wide zone scheme. It's going to test those linebackers laterally for San Francisco. And as we know, Trey Greenlaw isn't anymore. There's been a lot of change in that second level to this San Francisco defense. Fred Warner's still there and is a staple, but let's put as much pressure as we can and get him going sideline to sideline as much as possible. And then we'll come back with some of those gap runs right up the middle that we saw, in that Kansas City preseason game. We saw some of that ability from this offense, and I think that's going to be one of the ways to control the clock. The other one, use Cooper Kupp and Jackson Smith and Jigba as chain movers on quick routes to avoid third and long. One thing we saw last year with the Ryan Grubb offense is we got into a lot of third and long situations. We didn't stay ahead of the chains, and part of that was we didn't really have a quick passing game. Everything was long developing routes. That's going to change with Clint Kubiak. There's a lot of stuff he likes to do that's quick rub actions where you basically have one receiver almost incidentally pick another to open up space for one. We've seen Jake Bobo run those in the preseason. Derek Young's had some success with as well. But really, let's get Cooper Kupp and JSN involved in that, and that's going to help keep us ahead of the change. The other thing, run tempo shifts. Some huddle, some no huddle. Keep San Francisco's defense guessing by the tempo you're going to use and the motions you're going to use. Don't let them get into any sort of comfortable set where they know that they can play certain defenses against certain looks from us. Clint Kubiak keeps changing it up and he keeps causing different shifts and different personnel packages and then run some no huddle. If we get them gas with some of this run game that we've got, just keep putting the pedal to the metal and just go fast on these guys and don't let them get any substitutions in there. So that is my second key of the game, is control the clock. The third key of the game, ball hawks in the secondary. Seattle secondary needs to take advantage of this beat up and lackluster San Francisco 49ers receiving core. Yes, Juwan Jennings may play. Ricky Pearsall's there, but they no longer have Deebo Samuel. They no longer have Brandon Ayuk, who's injured right now. MVS is being promoted to the active roster, but he spent the entire camp with us. He's very unfamiliar with that offense. He may know some basic concepts and principles because they carry over, but overall, he isn't on the same page. He doesn't have the same, connection with Brock Purdy yet because he hasn't worked in training camp with him. So those things that I will talk about here. Corners playing aggressively in press and pattern matching to disrupt the timing between Purdy and Pearsall and MVS, even George Kittle to an extent. The safeties reading Purdy's eyes. If we can do that first key and get pressure on Brock Purdy, he does have a tendency to lock onto his first read when pressured. So that allows us to take opportunities and jump on some passes, get some interceptions. And that's the third point of this. Create turnovers. We need to be working in some short fields. That's one thing with the Seattle defense that I think escaped it last year, is they weren't as turnover productive and producing enough of them consistently. That's something that's got to change this year if this defense wants to be elite. Starts in game one here. They need to get some turnovers on Brock Purdy. So those are my three keys to this game. Now, what I'll give you guys on top of that in this segment, and that I will do every week, is my final score prediction for this game. My final score prediction for the Seattle Seahawks San Francisco game, I have Seattle winning 27-17. I think Seattle plays a controlled, physical game with San Francisco, protect Darnold, win the time of possession, and force Purdy into a couple mistakes. The result will be a comfortable but hard-earned divisional win for Seattle. If Seattle can get going on the right track right away with this season and take advantage of this beat up San Francisco 49ers team, you're going to see, I think, an ability for them to get to kind of what I said in my season prediction show of that 4-0 start. You have Pittsburgh next. That's going to be still tough. Then you've got the Saints and the Cardinals right after that. That 4-week stretch, if they can come out of this 4-0 and worse 3-1, in my opinion, it sets Seattle up so well for the rest of the season. But the crucial part of this is going to be winning this first game. Now, we know that there's been a little extra juice added now as Abe Lucas has been signed to an extension, which I think is going to have a ripple effect through that locker room. And I think this O-line is going to come out and they are going to show San Francisco that we're going to be the bully this year in the division when it comes to the trench play. So, guys, that is my three keys to victory for the Hawks. And I will see you next week before the Steelers game for my next set of three keys to victory. But as always, go Hawks.